Well, Tom Bower is, of course, the best-selling author of the Meghan biography, Revenge.
Surprising news out of Buckingham Palace. Prince Harry and his family make the long-awaited royal visit to the King and Queen.
Meghan Markle felt humiliated on Prince Harry's most recent UK trip.
Meghan Markle walked into Highgrove believing she was about to get something back. Royal biographer Tom Bower says she had already lost it before the car doors opened. His account of that afternoon describes a reunion arranged around one quiet condition, agreed with the palace beforehand, that nobody on her side appears to have fully understood until it was over. What Meghan wanted from King Charles was small, and it was never going to be granted.
But I do think that when you're mocked so publicly as they've been, their value begins to nosedive pretty quickly. And I don't think they're finding any more sources of income.
Bower argues the refusal was the entire point of letting her through the gate at all, and that it cost her more than 5 years of interviews ever did. The convoy that hid a reunion. The detail Bower keeps returning to is the arrival. According to his account, roughly 20 vehicles came into the King's Gloucestershire estate that Friday for an unrelated function, and the Sussex party moved in among them. Harry, Meghan, Archie, and Lilibet folded into ordinary traffic.
Meghan Markle and their children, marking the first time the King has seen his younger son's family in more than 4 years.
Bower's contention is that the staging was the first message Meghan received. A grandfather seeing grandchildren after years apart would once have been treated as an occasion. Instead, there was a convoy, a closed gate, and afterwards a statement confirming only that King Charles and Queen Camilla had hosted the couple and their 2 children at the monarch's private country residence, that no images would follow, and that nothing further would be said because the meeting was private. In Bower's reading, none of that was improvised. He argues the arrangement was built to be deniable in one direction and unusable in the other. The King could not be accused of refusing to see his son. The Sussexes could not walk away with anything they could put to work. The question is when that arrangement was decided, and Bower's answer points back to something that happened in London days earlier. The offer that disappeared. Before the trip, reporting indicated the royal household had offered Harry accommodation at Buckingham Palace for the family's stay. The building is among the most secure in the country, and security in Britain has been the couple's central grievance for years. According to those reports, Harry did not respond. What followed was a self-funded threat assessment, leaked to ITV News, describing the risk he said he faced in the United Kingdom. Critics noted it concerned London specifically, while Birmingham, central to his Invictus commitments, sat outside its scope. By the time the Sussex side moved to accept, reports say the offer had gone. A spokesperson for the Duke of Sussex confirmed the invitation had been withdrawn, and withdrawn late.
Prince Harry is still coming to the UK, but he won't be staying at Buckingham Palace in a royal residence. So what has been going on? It is sometimes quite hard to get to the bottom of these things.
Former royal household staff have called that hard to square with how the building works. Rooms exist, rooms are found, often at a moment's notice, and family members are the last people asked to wait. The explanation offered by one former member of staff was simpler than any dark theory. After the way the offer had been handled publicly, the palace decided to take back control of the situation and reply politely that the time frame no longer allowed it. A fairer reading deserves stating. Security for a man who lost his mother to a pursuit in a tunnel is not a bargaining chip, and a leaked threat report may be nothing more than a father's fear pushed into the only forum left to him. Bower does not accept that version, but it stands alongside his. What is not disputed is that the withdrawal reshaped the trip. It stripped away every setting where Meghan might have been seen in London and left one private afternoon carrying the whole weight of the visit. Why Britain mattered so much. Bower's explanation for why the couple pushed so hard for that afternoon runs through the ledger. His argument is that the Sussex commercial position has narrowed. Streaming projects that once anchored their income have thinned, and Harry's charitable relationships have grown more complicated, most damagingly at Saint-Abal, where the chair's public accusations of bullying and racism preceded his departure from the charity he co-founded. His reputation in Bauer's phrasing, was severely dented. Meghan's own position, in Bauer's account, is the more exposed of the two. Her brand rests on lifestyle authority, which requires either a track record in the field or borrowed status from elsewhere. He argues she has been running the second model without permission to use it. Her products have faced mockery, her announcements have been contradicted, including acclaimed streaming, arrangement Netflix moved quickly to deny, and the surviving ventures have not produced the cultural weight she is measured against. Bauer's contention is that everything distinctive about her public position still traces back to a wedding at Windsor. Distance was the strategy for 5 years, and in his view, it has run out of value because the audience she needs came with the family she left. That is why he believes the afternoon mattered to her more than to anyone in the room. Not a role, not a title, just the visible fact of still belonging. The counterweight is that Bauer has forecast the couple's financial collapse for years, and it has not arrived. They retain global recognition, property, and the ability to command attention on demand, which is itself a currency. A narrowing business is not a failing one. Still, a family cannot simply announce a return. It needs a reason to be in the country unrelated to wanting back in. And Bauer says Harry already had one.
Meghan and Harry's crisis, completely of their own making, is they have no major projects, no major money earners. And so they're more desperate than ever. And I think that they don't know what to do other than to try and come back to Britain and rebuild themselves as some sort of members of the royal family.
The Invictus door. The Invictus Games are the strongest thing Harry has built outside the institution, and the next edition heads to Birmingham. Bauer's contention is that this created cover. A trip framed around Invictus reads as a founder honoring a long-standing commitment rather than a couple engineering access. He believes the Birmingham cycle is the vehicle, and that the ambition extends beyond one visit toward a royal presence at the Games themselves. For Meghan, in Bauer's account, the Invictus frame carried a second advantage. It placed her near the institution in a supportive role rather than a petitioning one, without anyone having to say she had been invited back. Subscribe before the next section, because Bauer's claim about who else sat in that room is the part most coverage left out. The obstacle, as Bauer frames it, was arithmetic rather than sentiment. Public feeling had not recovered, and a monarch cannot embrace his son in front of cameras when much of the country would read it as absolution. So Charles, in Bauer's account, reached a compromise. Yes to the meeting. No to everything it could be turned into. The clearest evidence of that compromise, Bauer says, was the person Charles brought with him, the witness in the room. Queen Camilla's attendance is, for Bauer, the detail that explains the rest. He argues her presence was not ceremonial. Camilla sat through most of the ruptures of the past 5 years, and is the family member the Sussexes have warmed to least. In Bauer's account, placing her in that room guaranteed a second trusted recollection of everything said. The consequence in his reading is about what either side can say afterwards. A conversation with two participants can be characterized freely later because the rival account is a single voice and easily framed as defensive. A conversation with 4 adults present cannot. Any future interview describing warmth that was not offered or coldness that was not shown would run into a contradicting recollection from the Queen and be reported as a dispute rather than a revelation. Other royal commentators describe the same logic more gently, suggesting ground rules were reportedly set beforehand and said explicitly. No photographs, no briefing to the press, no account of the afternoon surfacing weeks later in an interview. There is a fairer way to read Camilla's presence, and it deserves saying. She is the king's wife. He is a man in treatment, meeting grandchildren he barely knows. A spouse in the room is the most ordinary arrangement imaginable, and reaching for the word witness may be reading strategy into an afternoon that was mostly nerves. Bauer reaches for it anyway. In his account, she was there to keep the conversation calm, and calm meant accountable, which leads to the thing that never happened, and to what Bauer believes its absence was designed to prove.
William and Kate and the King and Queen rebuild trust and respect. And the quicker the Sussexes leave Britain, the better. The question is only whether they go quietly and stay quiet, or whether they scream to earn a bit more money at the royal family's expense. That is the
photograph that never came. No official image was released, none leaked. For a family whose modern relationship with the public runs almost entirely through pictures, Bauer argues that silence carried the whole message. The commercial mechanics are not complicated. A photograph is a portable asset. It does not expire, it does not require context, and it can be attached to anything later. A single frame of Charles, Camilla, Harry, Meghan, and 2 children on a Gloucestershire lawn would have circulated permanently as proof of acceptance, and acceptance is the foundation the Sussex position was built on. Commentators who follow the couple's business strategy point out that Sussex-adjacent imagery has always done heavy lifting. Wedding photographs, engagement portraits, and christening images built a visual association with the institution that survived the departure and carried into the ventures that followed. Every partnership and profile since still leans on pictures taken while they were inside. That, in Bauer's account, is what the absence removes from Meghan specifically. Without a new image, the visit cannot be cited and cannot appear in a pitch, a profile, or a launch. It exists only as a 2-sentence palace statement. The counterweight should be said plainly. Private family visits routinely produce no images at all. Royal relatives see one another constantly without a photographer present, and treating that absence as refusal may be reading intent into standard practice. Bauer reads intent. He argues the palace deliberately withheld any opportunity that could later circulate as evidence of restored standing. She reportedly arrived, hoping the afternoon would register publicly as a turning point. It registered as a line item in a 2-sentence statement. That absence is why Bauer insists the meeting settled nothing either side wanted settled.
But of course, they're not apologizing. They have no contrition for the terrible things they've done over the last 5 years. So I never understood exactly how they thought it would play out, except that Harry was blackmailing his father.
Yes.
Do you want to see your grandchildren or not?
What 47 minutes did not produce. By Bauer's account, the meeting is reported to have lasted around 47 minutes, and the list of things it did not produce runs longer than the list of things it did. He says there was no apology for the previous 5 years, no restoration of any royal function, no route back to working duties, no resolution of the security dispute, and no reinstatement of palace accommodation. Reports indicate Meghan left afterwards with the children for Montecito, while Harry remained for Invictus work. No public appearance alongside the king followed. The stakes of a different outcome give the absence weight. A joint appearance would have restored the couple to the visual language of the family. A resolved security arrangement would have made regular returns viable and a British-facing commercial life possible again. Even a warm public line would have given future partners a reason to treat the association as live rather than historical. None of that arrived. Bauer's conclusion is that the absence was the product. The meeting existed to demonstrate that a private relationship and an institutional one are separate things, and that the king is willing to maintain the first because he has no intention of reopening the second. He is also careful about what the afternoon protected. Had Charles refused outright, the story available to the Sussexes would have written itself. A father who would not see his grandchildren. By granting 47 controlled minutes, Charles removed that story from circulation without conceding anything to replace it. That leaves the part of Bauer's account that is not analysis but advice. The warning. Bauer leaves with Charles. Bauer's closing position is harder than anything else he says about the day. His view is that the king's best course now is complete distance. He argues Charles should make clear the Sussexes are not welcome in Britain for a very long time, and that Harry will have to reorganize the decades ahead on that basis. His stated fear is that the king remains susceptible not to argument, but to the one lever the couple hold, which is access to grandchildren. 47 minutes, in his account, is not a reconciliation. It is a foothold, and a foothold is how a negotiation begins rather than how it ends. That is a biographer's opinion and should be marked as opinion. Bauer has written critically about this couple at book length and is not a neutral party. Others read the same afternoon as an aging man in poor health, meeting 2 children while he still can, with no strategy behind it. But his warning is why the story continues. If the visit was step 1 and Birmingham is step 2, the question is no longer what happened at Highgrove. It is what happens when the request comes again, now that Charles has shown he will say yes to something. Bauer's answer is that the king said yes to the smallest possible thing on purpose, and that Meghan left with exactly what the smallest possible thing is worth. Subscribe and turn on notifications so the next update arrives. Then leave a comment. Was that afternoon a door left open for Meghan or a door quietly closed? The video on screen picks up with the Birmingham question this one ends on.